12 physical features of the perfect Tucson rental house. Hi, Steve Schultz here from Blue Fox Properties. Let's jump right into number one. So number one is a median rental house. And let me define what I mean by median rental house. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet plus or minus house. And the idea is we want to be as attractive as we can to the largest potential pool of renters. So that's why I always target a median house. Number two, 1-story house, not a 2-story house. So why 1-story house? Because here in Tucson, we have a lot of folks that are here, snowbirds, retirees, people that maybe might have a tough time going up and down stairs. So that's why I want a 1-story house. Again, the idea is to be as attractive as possible to the largest possible pool of tenants. So far on number one and number two, you notice my overall philosophy is to make the house desirable for the largest tenant pool possible. And what this does is this leads to a lesser vacancy period. This list that I'm going to share with you has been created based on two things. One, what we have found is desirable for tenants, and two, what makes the most sense for landlords. So we're combining those two things together for this list. It's also the list I use when I search for my rentals. By the way, don't forget to subscribe for more landlord tips like this, and feel free to contact us here at Blue Fox Properties if you need help with your Tucson rental house. So let's continue with the list. Number three, year built. I like to look for houses that are less than 5 years old. And there are a number of reasons why I do this. One is because I plan to keep the house long term. So when I go to sell it in 15 or 20 years, I don't want a house that's even that much older at that time. So I like it for that reason. The second thing is there's less maintenance, at least in theory, in the short term. Why? Because, well, everything's pretty new. So roof, mechanical systems like your water heater, the air conditioner, things like that, because they're relatively new, shouldn't need much maintenance in the first several years. The next thing is new is attractive to tenants. So a lot of people like new things. A lot of people don't like old things. And newer houses have some of those nuances that the older houses don't have. And so that's another reason why, because it's more attractive to tenants. And then last but not least is the energy efficiency. And this is going to tie into my next point, number four, which is dual pane windows. So dual pane windows do a couple things. One is they're energy efficient. And then two, they actually can also help keep down the noise on the inside of the house. Now, if you're looking at newer houses, most newer houses are going to have dual pane windows. If you're looking at older houses, a lot of the older houses actually have only single pane windows. So that can be an issue again for both energy and noise being a concern there. So I always want to make sure the house has dual pane windows. Number five, air conditioning. This sounds basic, right? In Tucson, Arizona, doesn't every house have air conditioner? Well, a lot of older houses still don't. They have what are called evaporative coolers, also called swamp coolers. So the difference between the two is, as it relates to how the evaporative cooler operates, it's based on adding water to the air to cool the air. This is a problem in the case where it is monsoon season. So in monsoon season, the humidity goes up. So in the case of monsoon season where the humidity is, let's say, 30% plus or minus, and the temperature is 105 degrees plus or minus, the lowest theoretical temperature that an evaporative cooler can cool is around 85 degrees, which most tenants these days find unacceptable. So that's why I'd recommend, if you're looking at an older house, make sure you install air conditioning. And if you're looking at a newer house, almost all the houses have air conditioning. In fact, I haven't seen a newer house with evaporative cooling. So that would be a given if you're looking at newer houses. Number six, a fenced yard. This is really important. Why? Because a lot of people with kids and or pets want a fenced yard to keep those two things in the yard. And so really important. You know, in the past we've had properties, really beautiful houses that just would not rent. And the reason why they wouldn't is because they didn't have a fenced yard. So really, really critical the property has a fenced yard. Number seven, a low care yard with native landscaping. And so this is something that's really important. Again, native landscaping. So you don't want something that's really lush, going to require a lot of water, a lot of time and upkeep to take care of it. And it's got to be native landscaping so that it's something that the critters and the environment doesn't just eat up and destroy. So you want that low care yard with native landscaping. Number eight, a garage. And a garage here in Tucson is important for a couple reasons. Number one is because unlike other areas of the country, we're not trying to keep snow, ice, rain necessarily off the vehicle. It's really about keeping the sun out of the vehicle. So the idea is you don't have to get into a car that's 160 degrees. The other thing people use garages for a lot here in Tucson is for storage. So it's a contained storage area on the property, right? So that they can access anything that they want to access. So definitely recommend a house with a garage. Number 9, covered patio. And this is something that, again, a lot of tenants find attractive, nice to hang out outside during the nice times of the year. Newer houses, most of them are going to have this. In fact, I can't think of a newer house I've been to that doesn't have some sort of covered patio. On the other hand, if you're looking at older houses, some of those don't have covered patios. So definitely recommend that. If it's an older house, maybe it's an addition or something like that that you want to do, that you want to add so it does have a covered patio. But definitely encourage that because it is really attractive to tenants. Number 10, an updated kitchen and bathrooms. Now this is something obviously if you're looking at newer houses that's going to have, because well, it's a newer house, so you're already going to have those kitchens and bathrooms that are new. But if you're looking at older houses, again, you want to make sure those are updated. You plan to update them because that's what's really attractive to tenants. They want to see a nice new kitchen with stainless steel appliances and all that type of stuff, and in the bathroom all the updates there too. So definitely recommend that for the house. Number 11, tile flooring. This is important. This is really a win-win for both the tenants and the landlord. So from the landlord perspective, it's really low maintenance. So unless somebody, does something crazy like drops a bowling ball on the tile flooring, it's really hard to mess up, right? On the other hand, from the tenant perspective, it's really clean. They can see it's clean, and it actually keeps the house cooler as well. So a benefit for them in those ways too. And from their perspective also in using the house, easy to keep clean. So tile flooring, really, really beneficial. Number 12, tile or asphalt shingle roof. Now this is something you might be asking yourself, well, what the heck why do I care, right? Why do I care, well, whether or not, what type of roof it has? And so I contrast that versus a flat roof. So the reason for a tile or asphalt shingle roof is a lot less maintenance and they last a lot longer. So 25 to 30 year life on those versus a flat roof, much shorter life expectancy plus ongoing maintenance. Usually you have to coat the roof on a flat roof every few years and make sure that's taken care of. So this is really a landlord item. The tenant doesn't really care. All they want to know is that the roof doesn't leak, so it's not leaking on their things inside. Tile or asphalt shingle roof is important for a landlord perspective. Now, if you already have a house, compare this list to your house. If the house already has a lot of these, you're in good shape. If it doesn't, I'm not saying the house couldn't be a good rental, but it might be a little bit more challenging to rent. If you're looking to buy a rental house, use this list as your shopping list. I hope this list helps you. Don't forget to subscribe below, and I'll see you on the next video.